working could save up enough money to buy an automobile and guns and travel to Canada and to New York and stay in the Waldorf Astoria and to rent limousines. And he kept a diary. And he never kept a diary before. And it seems that all these political assassination attempts and assassinations are made by people who keep diaries. So I am not satisfied in my mind that he was a loner.
Was he a political assassin?
I have no idea about that, but I don't believe he was a loner.
Of course, it was just a matter of like 30 minutes before we got to the hospital and I learned he was paralyzed, so I never mentioned. Then, from then on, I encouraged him to get ready to go to the Democratic Convention. And I encouraged him. We used the politics to kind of, like a medicine or a tonic.
The best medicine and tonic George could ever have is here among his most beloved folks, the Fraternal Order of American Police, enjoying their annual dinner at the Hotel Parliament House in Birmingham, Alabama. To these upholders of that Neanderthal creed euphemistically known as law and order, George can tell his oldest, most tired stories, and he'll still lay them in the aisles, because George's folks are like that.
In 1968, I ran in the presidential campaign and talked about law and order, that it was a shame in this great society and supposedly most civilized nation on the face of the earth that you could not walk the streets of the largest cities of our country because the thugs had taken them over. I used to say if you walked out of this building tonight and are knocked in the head, the person who knocks you in the head is out of jail before you get to the hospital by some federal judge's edict, and on Monday morning they blame the police about the whole thing and say he started it, and that's something that's got to stop in this country. Well, one of the candidates in the presidential campaign immediately labeled that as demagoguery. Just like I said in 1968 in the urban welfare states, we ought to get people off the welfare rolls who are not entitled to be on them because it's taking money from the classes of middle-class America and pushing them into the ground, economically speaking. Mr. Humphrey, who was a good personal friend of mine, said that's demagogic. But in 1972, when I went down to Florida, the first statement I heard him make on television on an ad was, if you'll elect me president, I'm going to get the welfare chisels and loafers off the welfare rolls. And another one of his ads was that if you'll elect me president, I'm going to guarantee safety on the streets and uphold law and order here in these United States. Something that 4 years prior to that was demagogic. But I remember that the mayor of New York, he challenged me to a debate in Florida. That was his big issue. I wanted to debate Wallace. Well, I was from Clow, Alabama, and I got to thinking about, this is something. The fellow